Hello, Ayan. So the National Olympiad team for the International Olympiad on Astronomy and Astrophysics from Pakistan traveled to Brazil earlier this year. And as a member of the team, we're interested in knowing how the experience went, what you got to learn from it, and what you can share with prospective candidates who are going to be competing in the 2025 edition, scheduled to take place in India in August next year. So let's begin with an intro. Could you please introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, so basically, my name is Ayan, and currently I am in A1. I study in Eastern College, and I've been interested in astronomy for a long time now. Even in my background, you can see most of the background is comprised of astronomy-related material. So, astronomy has been something that has fascinated me for a long time. So, being part of the IOAA Pakistan team naturally came as a result of my interest for the subject. So at the time of the Olympiad itself, I was in O levels. So I had to manage all of my CIEs and all of that as I was doing the Olympiad. So that's just a
So,
basic introduction about myself.
all right, thanks. As a member of the national team, earlier this year, how would you describe the experience, generally speaking?
Yeah, so obviously representing Pakistan on such an international scale, such a big scale on an Olympiad, it was definitely a surreal experience. I mean, it's definitely been an honor to say that I represented Pakistan on such a big level and for something that I'm so passionate about. But on the other hand, there's also that weight on your shoulders that, oh no, the whole weight of my nation's like they're thinking that they have high expectations and all of that, it weighs you down. So actually it was like a double-edged sword. Like at one point I was both happy and sad, and I was like considering whether I'm like good enough. So there comes a point where you like doubt yourself about what your capabilities are, but that's where the point where you have to keep your head down and believe in God and say that no, I've earned this and I will do my best to see and see what comes at my way.
Right. So, what would you say is the best part about this Olympiad?
I mean, the best part about this Olympiad is you get to see outside stuff outside of Pakistan. You get to meet people outside of Pakistan. When I went to the Olympiad itself, I met people and I saw their interests. I saw how they function into their day-to-day lives, and I saw how what their school lives are, what their activity lists are, what their university lists are going to be. How are they managing their universities, their schools, their curriculum, their academics? On what level will they be applying to university? So that really gave me an insight on how the international system works in comparison to Pakistan. And on the other hand, I also got to saw other things like related to astronomy as well. I got to see what my field holds for me. What type of questions can I expect when I further progress in this field? What kind of equipment will I be able to see, and what kind of people will I be able to meet? Like my own uh, countries advisor type, every country got allocated an advisor. So mine was Lago, and I got to learn a lot from him about Brazilian universities, how people in Brazil learned, and eventually we did come upon a conclusion that he was willing to work on a research paper with me. So that really gave me a whole insight on how other people think, because that's one of the main things an international competition helps you in. It gives you exposure to other people, to other things, and gets makes you experience new things.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, and that is a good point because apart from the obvious academic aspect of the competition, the co-curricular part, and meeting people from all over the world and seeing how they're going about their life is
Yeah,
definitely an eye-opener.
yeah.
So, as for students competing or hoping to compete to become part of the national team that's going to travel to India next year, what recommendations or what would you recommend to them? How should they maximize their chances of
Yeah,
making it to the team and then winning medals at the event?
yeah. So first of all, one of the first thing that you have to realize is this is not just an ordinary international competition. This is not like every other competition where you can just like study and get a medal or get an honorable mention. This is Olympiad, and Olympiads are known to be one of the toughest, if not the toughest, types of competitions out there. Olympiad is directly derived from the Olympics. So to be put in that situation, you have to prepare yourself mentally to know how to solve problems. For IOA itself, you need to have a good grasp on physics and on the basic calculus that the question paper requires you to have. So a good understanding of astronomy can come from many books like Flavio Salvati's book is a great guide for how you can do astronomy questions. And there is another guy, Mihail Sandhu. You can also look into his books. So for the theory part, it's all practice. Unless you are not practicing, you won't be able to you won't be able to score a good score. Apart from that, the statistics section or the like data analysis section, it's mostly you need to have a good understanding of how graphs work, how you're supposed to plot things, and that's basic mathematics. If you like get a grip around that, then you'll easily be able to get like a good score on that section. And lastly, we have planetary and the practical round. So for that, a good know-how of how telescopes work and how you're supposed to do all that. Celestial coordinates is a very big part of the whole astronomy competition scene. So you need to have a good like grasp on celestial coordinates and about celestial objects and all of that. So for all of that, you need to basically divide it into three things. One, you need to practice. Second, you need to actually have a will to win. And third, you need to actually pray to God. Because unless God is not on your side, then I don't think it's actually a good idea to be participating in an Olympiad. Because at the end of the day, it's only God who can help us.
All right. And how do you compare it to, let's say, the two closest subjects, of course, that are going to be relevant for students in this one are physics and math. So how would you compare the content or difficulty level to A-level physics and A-level math?
I mean, compared to A-level physics and A-level math, uh, like A-level physics and A-level maths in front of an IOA paper is like grade 2 physics and grade 2 maths because it's relatively nothing. Because IOA does not only require a good understanding of physics and maths, it also requires you to have a good grasp on concepts which make you think on what formulae actually need to be applied over here and what is the question actually asking of me. So it's not a simple matter of you need to solve this equation and all that. You need to actually understand what's going on in the question itself. Like a question can give me can ask me about two stars and then give me a lot more information. So I have to actually figure out what kind of question is this. Is this a two body question? Gravitational waves is do I have to like calculate the Schwarzschild radius after the impact or the collision? So you actually need to understand on how to interpret the question. That alone takes a lot of brain power. And then once you've done that, then you need to figure out how to approach the question and how to apply formulate to that question. So compared to A level, IOA is pretty significantly harder. I would actually compare it to university or like upper university level questions. So obviously if you like practice a lot and you're actually passionate about it, you will be able to solve it. But it's not like easy to just jump into it and score a good score.
Yeah. So if I were to summarize it, would it be correct to say that you're suggesting that there are two very important parts? Part one is to have a clear understanding of the conceptual background that the question is
Yeah,
tackling. And then the second step is knowing how to make use of equations or other specific concepts in
yeah,
terms of problem solving. Right.
yeah,
Okay. And then we'll end with the final question. In the sense, the idea is to see as from a holistic standpoint, basically,
yeah.
what your biggest takeaways were from the event, those could be academic or otherwise, even personal development. It could be across domains.
Yeah. So for me, as a whole, I've always been like an astronomy type of guy. So all of my actually university application is also all based on astronomy. I have a astronomy based NGO. I do astronomy related activities at my school, and like I'm known as Astro Ayan. So for when I went to IOA and I like missed out on a HM, on a bronze, on a silver, on a gold, that actually like made me realize that in the grand scheme of things, where do I lie and how I can actually improve myself.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time. It was interesting. And, hopefully this will be of great value to all those who are planning to participate. And if I'm not wrong, you're also going to be competing for the 2025 edition.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. All right. All the best.